Alright, so I'll go through some of the old vehicles I have collected here. This here is my most recent one. It's a 77 Dodge Tradesman 200. I actually bought this van for parts for my other van, which is my first car ever. And it's your generic standard van. It's a 3/4 ton. It's got a 318 V8 with a 2-barrel in it, and 727 automatic transmission. Basically, the bone stock version. But I did modify it a little bit. It used to be orange, and I've always wanted one that was this forest green color, so I painted it forest green. And the inside here, I put the nice swiveling captain's chairs in there, both sides. And in the back, it's got a fold-down bench seat. Pretty nice. We made a little storage shelf up top with power switches, and a little shelf up there, and my tack, and some speakers. Made that myself. It's pretty nice. And then I had to put a new speedometer in this machine. The old one was inaccurate. I had a spare from my collection of old van parts. This one is about 20,000 miles shy, not miles an hour. Jeez. This thing probably has about 110,000 on it. So the old speedometer was off by about 15 miles an hour, so it was kind of throwing things. Still has the original lights up top that actually work properly. And, you know, for fun, if I travel with friends, I put a DVD player in there. That wires right through the sound. It's pretty cool. So, the only real modifications this has is it's got, you know, nice Craggar rims, and it's got dual exhaust. That's about it. And it runs great. I want to put a different carb in it yet, but I haven't yet because I'm worried about vapor locking problems, because it still has the original radiator. So I'll probably do radiator first, then carb, and then manifold. Then next to it here is my dream truck, which is in a sad state right now. It was in pretty good shape for a little while. I bought it in 2004. It's a 78 Dodge Ram Charger, the 4-speed and a 360 4-barrel. It's got the thermo quad, so this thing, when you hit it hard, it really gives you some whiplash. Bought this when I graduated college because I've always wanted one. It's got the removable hardtop. Used to be brown, and I decided to make it into my Little Red Express that Dodge never made but should have. So it's 4-wheel drive, and it's a blast to drive. It drives even nicer than I used to have an 88 one. It drives way nicer and actually got better mileage too. Those are two of my machines. And now I'll go show you my my first car, my oldest one, my favorite. So in my little tent shed here is my first car, and my favorite one of the whole bunch. This is a 72 Dodge Tradesman. It's got a different grill than the other one, metal grill instead of plastic. And it's that weird frost green color. And it's too unique to get rid of. I had to keep that. This machine, when I got it, had over 300,000 miles on it, and the time I had it, I put a few more on it. Now it's got 443,000, I think is what it says on there. Yeah, 442.46. So it's getting up there. It doesn't. These old Dodges were missing that farthest over to the left number there, so it looks like it only has 44,246, but it's pretty well worn. Everything still works on it. It's a 3-speed column shift, which is a real blast to drive, but sometimes has some bind-up issues, usually from reverse to second gear, or second to reverse. So it has a slant 6, which runs fantastic. The slant 6 itself, in this one, it's actually its third motor, but this one has about 350,000 on it. It's hard to tell. When I got the van, it had its second motor in it, which actually had more miles than the powertrain. Its first motor split in half the day my father bought it. He was driving it home, and it threw a rod right through the side. And there's our engine cover. This has the seats out of the 77 in it because they had armrests. I didn't have armrests on this when I first got it. And it's been sitting out here for a while, so the mice have been having fun. There's what it looks like in the back. It's got nice little porthole windows, and I completely did the entire inside in carpet. And this has another shelf, not nicely as made as the other one, and a ramshackle tack mount. But yeah, this guy, when it broke, the original motor, my father found a motor out of an old late 60s Dodge Dart that had more miles on it than the van, and drove that one. I still have that motor. That's sitting out in a shed in the backyard, and it still ran when I took it out. It just had a bit of a knock, so it needed a rebuild. We found this motor for cheaper than you can get a rebuild kit, and we put it in there, and it's been running good ever since. And I'll show you the only real problems with this. Everything still works, brakes and everything, but down below here, I don't know if it can be seen, where the springs mount, oh, they're on the back here, there we go. There's some serious rust happening on the unibody, so I want to do some reinforcement there. Also have some problems with the gas tank mounts, and I'd really like to is get out of this shed, since this shed's in such bad shape here. Really took a beating from the weather. But anyway, the other real problem with it when I'm driving is that the doors rattle like crazy. These hinges are all worn out completely. So if I open up this door, let's see just how loose they are. So if I shake this, try that again. Yep, so there it is. Not much holding them on there anymore. Those pins are seized and worn off. In fact, the back one sheared completely. I had to put a bolt in it. The back one almost fell right out. But I've got new hinges, so someday when I've got the time and the money, I'll replace them all, and I'll put this guy back on the road. I want to get it to the 500,000, but that's off in the future somewhere. It's a Tradesman 100, this one, by the way, a half-ton. So, a couple of things about my truck. The reason I don't drive it anymore, or I stopped driving it for a while, is the pilot bearing on the end of the crankshaft seized. So now when you push the clutch in, it just keeps on going. A couple other things you can notice, though. I've got some paint issues there at the base of the windshield and up on the roof, and everywhere else, really. I painted this in the fall, which is a bad idea. Don't do it. When the metal's cold, paint doesn't stick very well. And I tried to let the truck warm up every time. I mean, in terms of the metal warming up. But, you know, that's life. Sometimes it doesn't work. Now, I have actually no idea what the mileage is on this thing, because this thing's had oversized tires since I bought it, and they throw the speedometer way off. So I know that the count is definitely not accurate. But it's been sitting here for a few years. It's got nicely reupholstered front seats. I got to do that with the back seat too. But you know, it's doable. I'm going to take it to a body shop this time and have them do it right, because I also need to do my quarter panels here, as you can see. Originally someone patched them with MIG weld, which was quite a pain to fix in the first place. And I got that fixed, and then I foolishly drove it in the winter a couple times, and well, now you can see what happens. So there's my little Express. I love this thing, and someday I'll get those horns hooked back up and fire it up and take it out of here and go cruising with the top off. I have a soft top for it too. I just never installed it. It's still sitting in a box. I've had it for about 3 years.